in any software development life cycle or software processes, there are various work product being produced. Normally, we relate the testing with coding. But we were doing the black box testing, white box testing. We learned so many aspects of these two testing. Okay. But there are certain more work product like the documentation, requirement specification, the software design, the user manual, the compilation guide. So these are all also deliverables. Now this is the duty of the software team to also test the documentation, all the documentation along with the user manual, help facilities, installation guide, compilation guide. There are so many different work product or the documentation generated as a result of all these software processes. Okay. So user manual, user guide or customer guide, as I said, they are different product, different results of documentation will be there. So what happens if you are as a user using a user guide or a manual or say an online help and it is not helping you? It is just there and not being properly made. It will be so frustrating for you as a user. So for every software test plan, documentation testing is a must. We just don't think about documentation testing, but it is integral part. The documentation testing normally happens in two phases. The first is the technical review. That is, a person will sit, he will see the editorial clarity, semicolon is not there, the sentences are not properly formed, or they are ambiguous, or they are not pointing to what we were wanting. For any novice user, it should help. And the live test, that means using the documentation in conjunction, in help with the actual program. For example, you created an installation guide or you created a user manual. Now we will start with the installation guide and we'll try to install the software. Or with the user manual, we will try to do certain activity or achieve certain functionality. Okay, but if you are using it and if you are stuck somewhere and this user manual is not helping, that means the testing is the main criteria to find out these are the errors. For this, that you have to do testing. So live test for documentation, this may use certain techniques which are very similar to black box testing. For example, if the usage of the program, use of certain functionality has to be tested, graph-based testing method can be used. For input, classes of input and their interaction, we can use the equivalence partitioning or the boundary value analysis technique. This can be a help. Okay. So graph-based testing, equivalence partitioning and boundary value analysis, depending upon what exactly documentation part you are going to see. MBT, you can use model-based testing to ensure document behavior and what is the actual behavior of the software. Does it coincide or there is non-correspondence? So please understand, testing documentation is as important as testing your code.